Chapter 692. Professor Zhu, nice to meet you. Li Jianyu stepped forward to receive him. Didn't you say that you would be coming tomorrow? The research institute had indeed contacted the production team, but the appointed time was tomorrow. The production team felt that this was not only a good thing for Xiangyi, but also a good way to educate the public about history and culture. Hence, they readily agreed. Professor Zhu said in surprise, "Well, I'm the one who can't wait to meet Miss Xiang." The gray-haired old professor next to him spoke up. The old man was old and his back was a little hunched, but his eyes were full of wisdom. "Please forgive me if I've disturbed you in any way, Teacher Ji." Although her memory was a little fuzzy, Xiangyi still recognized him. "When I was in university, I had the honor of attending one of your lectures. In the live stream, if you don't understand, just ask. Are these two people very powerful?" "Of course. History is the ace major of Nanjing University, and Professor Zhu is the ace professor of the history department. The old man next to him is his Ph.D. advisor, Mr. Ji, who is currently a leading figure in the academic world." Everyone was even more surprised after learning the identities of the two. Such a powerful figure actually asked for Xiangyi's advice? Oh my God! Just how impressive is Sister E? Due to the sudden visit of Taoist Ran, Mr. Ji, and Professor Zhu, the matter of going up the mountain had to be put on hold for the time being. Everyone returned to the living room where Xiangyi personally brewed some tea and sat down obediently on the sofa. Shi Sui sat next to her, and the two of them looked like super straight-A students who were waiting for the teacher to ask them questions. They were calm and composed. Mr. Ji and Professor Zhu were excellent at maintaining their composure. The two of them slowly tasted Xiangyi's tea and their eyes lit up. "Good tea." Taoist Ren couldn't help but ask, "Xiangyi, where did you learn talismans from?" Xiangyi naturally couldn't disclose the fact that she had transmigrated, so she casually said, "I don't have a master, I'm just doing my own research for fun." Taoist Ren didn't continue on this topic, thinking that Xiangyi must have had her own opportunities. He immediately praised, "You're really a genius. A genius. Genius." In the cultivation plane, Xiangyi had seen too many amazing talisman crafting geniuses. She had always thought that her standard was very average. Now, she was embarrassed by the compliments. "You flatter me." No, these are all words from the bottom of my heart. I've studied talismans for several decades, and I've only scratched the surface. Little friend Xiangyi is so young, but she has such accomplishments. If she was in the ancient times, she would definitely be someone who would establish a sect and become an immortal. The bullet screen was filled with laughter. The Taoist priest is too good with words. It is recommended to publish the book on the spot. There were also people who retorted, "Attain the Tao? Aren't you praising him too much? That's too much of an exaggeration. It's obviously self-directed. No, you can become an immortal just by scribbling a few scribbles? This person must have read too many Xianxia novels." At this moment, Professor Zhu said, "Have you heard of the Yuxia civilization?" Shi Sui said, "Are you referring to the ancient Yuxia kingdom? I don't know much about history, and I only know some general knowledge. There are no records of the ancient Yuxia kingdom in history books, but there is currently a school of thought in the academic world that believes that the ancient Yuxia kingdom really existed." "That's right." Mr. Ji's voice was loud like a bell. At the mention of academics, his entire aura seemed to have changed. There is currently a lack of evidence to prove the existence of the ancient Yuxia kingdom, but I think that Miss Xiang's talismans can give us a glimpse of the prosperous civilization of that time. Chapter 693. His words caused everyone to fall silent for a few seconds. Even the comments in the live stream began to dwindle, followed by a large row of question marks. What the F***CK? Ah, history buffs are here. Can this really prove the existence of the Yuxia civilization? If that's the case, it'll be a great revolution for history, no, the entire humanities. In the living room, Professor Zhu added, "At present, we generally believe that the most prominent characteristics of the Yuxia civilization are closely related to witchcraft, divination, and sacrifice. According to the records of various eras, talismans, as a cultural symbol, have also changed over time. All of this is traceable, but this clue is missing the most crucial link. Miss Xiang's talismans can help us complete this closed loop. Xiangyi was stunned. Something seemed to have flashed through her mind, but it disappeared too quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared without a trace. Professor Zhu, I'm very honored to be able to contribute a little to your research. What can I do to help? Can you provide us with some talismans? As well as a video of you drawing talismans. Of course, in addition to a certificate of honor, we're willing to provide a certain amount of monetary subsidies. Xiangyi said, forget about the subsidies, can you give me a certificate or a little red flower? Haha. Both Professor Zhu and Mr. Ji laughed and looked at Xiangyi with more admiration in their eyes. Look, what a good child. Not only is she diligent and motivated, but she also values money. Xiangyi took out the talisman paper and cinnabar, and tried her best to draw all the types of talismans in her mind. Thus, everyone watched helplessly as the little girl continuously drew over 100 talismans with her own strength without stopping even once. The students brought by Professor Zhu were recording a video at the side. While recording, they were amazed by Xiangyi's memory. The drawing method of each talisman was very complicated, and mistakes could be made with the slightest carelessness. However, Xiangyi did it smoothly from beginning to end without making a single mistake. That was enough to show how powerful her memory was. After drawing hundreds of talismans, Xiangyi's hands were still very steady, which meant that her concentration had reached a terrifying level. If such a person were to engage in scientific research, her achievements would definitely be immeasurable. The students looked at each other in dismay. All of them had long faces. Alas, what kind of rookies are we? Time passed. Swish. After finishing the last stroke, the girl exhaled softly. She drew all the types of talismans she could think of. She should be able to help Professor Zhu and the others a little, right? I'm done. Xiangyi turned around and asked the students, have you recorded everything clearly? Is there anything that needs to be recorded? The few of them were stunned at first. Then they reacted. It's done, it's done. Very clear. We even took pictures from different angles. Before they came, they were still a little prejudiced against Xiangyi. After all, it was easy for a female celebrity to give people the impression that she relied on her looks to make a living. But Xiangyi's talent and character had conquered them. Gentleness could be seen in the details. If he was lucky enough to be friends with her, it would definitely be very comfortable getting along with her. Professor Zhu and the others thanked him profusely as if they had received a treasure. They were in a hurry to go back and do their research, so they proposed to leave first. Before leaving, Mr. Ji broke free from Professor Zhu's support, faced Xiangyi, and with much difficulty he bowed. Miss Xiang, thank you for your selfless dedication. I'm proud of the country for having a young person like you. Chapter 694. He pulled out his peachwood sword, stuck a talisman on it, and threw the sword into the air. The live stream viewers. Oh my God, can he really fly on a sword? In the next second, the peachwood sword hit Daoist Ren's head and he let out a shrill scream. Ouch, it hurts. Everyone, Li Jianyu said cheekily, don't imitate that dangerous move. Thank you, Daoist Ren, for your performance. He sacrificed himself to entertain us. His spirit is so commendable. The live stream viewers, talking nonsense with a straight face. Ha ha ha, Daoist Ran is my laughing point today. Daoist Ran, this sword is immoral. It sneaked an attack on a middle-aged man like me. I advise this sword to take care of itself. Everyone laughed heartily, and the nervousness from before vanished like smoke in thin air. That's right. Flying on a sword and flying on a sword are all movies. How could they exist in real life? Xiangyi tried hard to hold back her laughter. Daoist Ran, we're preparing to go up the mountain. Would you like to rest here for a while? Daoist Ran had yet to recover from the blow. He muttered to himself several times, this is impossible, but when he heard Xiangyi's words, he forced himself to cheer up. His gaze swept across Xiangyi, Shi Sui, and Shi Yu. Taoist Ren frowned. It's not safe on the mountain. You're a delicate girl with two powerless men. What if you encounter a wild beast? Xiangyi, I'll go with you. Shi Sui? Shi Yu? The expressions of the Shi uncle and niece seemed to be carved out of the same mold. There was a hint of coldness in their expressionless faces. However, the live stream viewers laughed out loud. Taoist Ren, have you seen a delicate girl who can kill a 200-pound pig? Light up a cigarette. Ha ha ha, Shi Sui is being treated as a gigolo again. Shi Yu, it's fine if you say I'm powerless, but you're going overboard by saying that my uncle is. In short, Taoist Ren insisted on going together. Xiangyi and the others felt that it was fine and set off together. The audience was used to the usual live broadcast in the manor, so it was very refreshing to go out occasionally. Soon, the group arrived at the foot of the mountain. The nearby mountain was continuous, and the main peak was quite high above sea level. Today, Xiangyi and the others were going to climb a lower peak. Although the altitude was low, it hadn't been artificially developed. As far as the eye could see, it was a sea of green. The air was fresh and pleasant, and the chirping of birds and cicadas could be heard. The mountain stream was so clear that one could see the bottom. One could even see a few fish swimming in it. Xiangyi plucked a piece of green foxtail. The young girl was very skillful. She weaved a little rabbit for Shi Yu to play with. Shi Yu thanked him obediently and held it in his hands as if he had obtained a treasure. He even pretended as if nothing had happened and waved his hand in front of Shi Sui. The little kid's subtle desire to show off was greatly satisfied. Uncle, I have it but you don't. The next second, Shi Sui spoke softly, adding a touch of tea fragrance to the forest. Sister E, can I have a little rabbit too? Xiangyi said without hesitation, Sure, sure. Of course, she had to satisfy her boyfriend's request. The young girl quickly made 2 little rabbits for Shi Sui. Shi Sui took them and smiled. Sister E is very nice. As long as you like them, Xiangyi said with a smile. She turned her head to see if there were any edible wild vegetables. While she wasn't paying attention, Shi Sui waved the 2 straw bunnies in front of Shi Yu. The cold and handsome man, whose bone structure was so good that there was nothing to nitpick about, said seriously, See? I have 2 little rabbits. Chapter 695. He pulled out his peachwood sword, stuck a talisman on it, and threw the sword into the air. The live stream viewers. Oh my God, can he really fly on a sword? In the next second, the peachwood sword hit Taoist Ren's head and he let out a shrill scream. Ouch, it hurts. Everyone, Li Jianyu said cheekily, don't imitate that dangerous move. Thank you, Taoist Ren, for your performance. He sacrificed himself to entertain us. His spirit is so commendable. The live stream viewers, talking nonsense with a straight face. Ha ha ha, Taoist Ren is my laughing point today. Taoist Ren, this sword is immoral. It sneaked an attack on a middle-aged man like me. I advise this sword to take care of itself. Everyone laughed heartily, and that bit of nervousness from before vanished like smoke. That's right, flying on a sword and flying on a sword are all movies. How could they exist in real life? Xiangyi tried hard to hold back her laughter. Taoist Ren, we're preparing to go up the mountain. Would you like to rest here for a while? Taoist Ren had yet to recover from the blow. He muttered to himself several times, this is impossible, but when he heard Xiangyi's words, he forced himself to cheer up. His gaze swept across Xiangyi, Shi Sui, and Shi Yu. Taoist Ren frowned. It's not safe on the mountain. You're a delicate girl with 2 powerless men. What if you encounter a wild beast? Xiangyi, I'll go with you. Shi Sui? Shi Yu? The expressions of the Shi uncle and niece seemed to be carved out of the same mold. There was a hint of coldness in their expressionless faces. However, the live stream viewers laughed out loud. Taoist Ren, Have you seen a delicate girl who can kill a 200-pound pig? Light up a cigarette. Ha ha ha, Sure Sway is being treated as a gigolo again. Sure you. It's fine if you say I'm powerless, but you're going overboard by saying that my uncle is. In short, Taoist Ren insisted on going together. Xiangyi and the others felt that it was fine and set off together. The audience was used to the usual live broadcast in the manor, so it was very refreshing to go out occasionally. Soon, the group arrived at the foot of the mountain. The nearby mountain was continuous, and the main peak was quite high above sea level. Today, Xiangyi and the others were going to climb a lower peak. Although the altitude was low, it hadn't been artificially developed. As far as the eye could see, it was a sea of green. The air was fresh and pleasant, and the chirping of birds and cicadas could be heard. The mountain stream was so clear that one could see the bottom. One could even see a few fish swimming in it. Xiangyi plucked a piece of green foxtail. The young girl was very skillful. She weaved a little rabbit for Shi Yu to play with. Shi Yu thanked him obediently and held it in his hands as if he had obtained a treasure. He even pretended as if nothing had happened and waved his hand in front of Sure Sway. The little kid's subtle desire to show off was greatly satisfied. Uncle, I have it but you don't. The next second, Sure Sway spoke softly, adding a touch of tea fragrance to the forest. Sister E, can I have a little rabbit too? Xiangyi said without hesitation, Sure, sure. Of course, she had to satisfy her boyfriend's request. The young girl quickly made 2 little rabbits for Sure Sway. Sure Sway took them and smiled. Sister E is very nice. As long as you like them, Xiangyi said with a smile. She turned her head to see if there were any edible wild vegetables. While she wasn't paying attention, Sure Sway waved the 2 straw bunnies in front of Shi Yu. The cold and handsome man had an impeccable physique. He said in a serious tone, Do you see? I have 2 little rabbits. The order of the 2 chapters had been changed. It was time to refresh. Chapter 696. Shi Yu was speechless. The little Shota was speechless. He used to idolize his uncle, but who could have told him that his uncle was so childish? The live stream viewers were aghast. Sure Ingdi, you don't do anything related to humans at all. You can't be too Shi Sway, you're even bullying children. Ha ha ha, it's clearly the Shi family showing off to each other. It's obvious that they're just a plastic family. Unwilling to be outdone, Shi Yu puffed up his cheeks and said, I have one too. Sure Sway smiled and said, I have 2. Shi Yu exclaimed, Sister gave it to me first. Sure Sway continued, I have 2. Shi Yu was speechless. I'm so tired. Showing off to his little nephew was no longer enough to satisfy a certain Sure Ingdi. Thus, he locked his gaze on the camera. The live stream viewers were speechless. They suddenly had a bad feeling. Sure enough. The man got closer to the camera, and his handsome and noble face was magnified. Without the enhancement of any beauty filter, his skin was still cold and pale. When he smiled, it was bewitching. This is a little rabbit that Sister E made for me. Sure Sway raised his left hand and then his right. This is also a little rabbit that Sister E made for me. Isn't it cute? Everyone at the scene was speechless. The live stream viewers were speechless. There are 2 trees in front of my house. One is a jujube tree, and the other is also a jujube tree. Sure Ingdi must be a contemporary literary hero. Ha ha ha, is this man really 27 years old? He's so childish. You guys are luring the dog in to be killed. If I'm guilty, the law will punish me, not slap me in the face with dog food. Suddenly, Xiangyi's surprised voice came from not far away. There are mushrooms. Looking in the direction of the voice, they saw the little girl standing under the shade of a tree and waving in the direction of the crowd. Sure Sway walked closer with his long legs. Perhaps because it had just rained, there were many mushrooms growing nearby, spreading into a large area. Xiangyi quickly identified which ones were edible and which were poisonous and told everyone to pick them separately. Even sure you gave him a small basket so that the child could feel the joy of labor. This was a very new experience for Shiryu. The little boy huffed and puffed as he picked them very seriously. Xiangyi vividly told the audience about several common ways to make mushrooms. While she was talking, Taoist Ren's loud voice came from beside her. Gulp. Xiangyi looked over. Taoist Ren said awkwardly, "Well, I was in a hurry on the way, so I ate a boxed lunch on the train. Xiangyi, when you started talking about food, I got hungry." Xiangyi didn't say anything. Her expression was solemn as she stared at Taoist Ren. Seeing that she didn't say anything, someone in the live broadcast room suddenly picked on her. "Is this how you treat your guests?" "That's right, Ren Douda came all the way here. Isn't treating him to a meal the most basic social etiquette? Taoist Ren is talking to her and she's ignoring him? Is there something wrong with her? Is she getting arrogant because she's popular?" The group of people was filled with righteous indignation. In the next moment, the camera slowly switched and many people screamed in front of the screen. Ah! Through the high-definition camera, the crowd saw that on the tree behind Taoist Ren, a snake had climbed up a mountain at some point. The audience in the live broadcast room instantly went crazy. F***CK. This is King Venomous Snake. F***CK. I was so scared that I dropped my tablet. It's over, it's over. This snake is super venomous and fast. Is the production team going to die here? Chapter 697. Gui Shanfeng's real name was King Cobra. It was ferocious and had quick reflexes. Most importantly, it was highly venomous and was one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. The scene was so quiet that one could hear the wind and no one dared to make a sound. Even the experienced cameraman Lao Zhang's hands couldn't help but tremble. Who wouldn't be afraid? It was a venomous snake. They might even lose their lives here. Taoist Ren had his back to the tree and because of his perspective, he was the only one who didn't understand what was going on. He even shamelessly discussed the topic of freeloading with Xiangyi. "Xiangyi, it's getting late. I can't catch the high-speed train with my old bones. Can I stay for a simple meal?" "Don't worry. I won't freeload. I'm willing to teach you the unique swordsmanship of Qingshui Temple. It's the ultimate technique of my temple. If it were anyone else, Taoist Ren wouldn't teach them even if they were offered money. However, Xiangyi was different. She had selflessly taught him the talisman, so he naturally had to return the favor. The viewers in the live stream were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. Their typing was trembling. "Ah, Taoist Ren, shut up. I'm so scared that Gua Shanfeng will bite you first." "Oh my God, I'm going to cry. What should we do?" "It's just climbing a mountain. How could there be such an accident?" "I've already called the police and the fire department, forestry bureau, and zoo rescue. I hope they can make it in time. However, I think everyone is in danger. At least 1 or 2 people have to stay behind to hold Gua Shanfeng back so that the others can escape unscathed." Anyone who had compassion in their hearts was secretly praying at this moment, hoping that everyone in the program team would be safe and sound. However, even at this time, there were still people who were quick-witted. "Doesn't Xiangyi know how to draw talismans? She should draw a talisman to make the snake go away. She must be stupid, right? No way." Such remarks easily aroused the anger of the crowd. How could he say such things at a time like this? He was undoubtedly starting a war. The hot-tempered netizens directly spat out vulgarities. Even the most Buddhist, Spicy Tutu, was so angry that she started spitting. Taoist Ren saw that Xiangyi didn't respond for a long time. Combined with the reactions of the others, he vaguely understood something. His eyesight was very good. Through Xiangyi's bright doe eyes, he saw his own reflection and the figure that was a few meters long behind him. Shua! Taoist Ren broke out in cold sweat, and his legs couldn't help but tremble. The atmosphere at the scene turned cold for a moment. Before anyone could come up with a countermeasure, the snake slowly flicked out its tongue, as if it was preparing to hunt. This was simply one disaster after another. No one dared to act rashly. Their eyes and hearts were filled with despair. Taoist Ran gritted his teeth and hardened his heart. You guys go first. I'll hold this beast back. Qingshui Guan was on the mountain. He had dealt with snakes before, and he practiced martial arts all year round. No matter what, he was stronger than these unarmed young people. In the live stream, the Taoist priest is so nice. Woo, Taoist priest, you must survive. I will definitely go to your monastery to burn incense. Being willing to stay at a time like this is enough to show Taoist Ren's benevolence. Unlike some artists who are so awesome when they're drawing talismans, they're good at pretending to be dead. At this moment, Guo Shanfeng arched his body and looked like he was about to launch an attack. Xiangyi, who had been silent all this while, finally found the right opportunity. The girl's voice was as clear as the sound of nature. She said calmly, Taoist priest, lend me your sword. Taoist Ren was dumbfounded. Sword? The one I have? No, it's just a peachwood sword. Chapter 698. Be it the staff at the scene or the audience watching the live stream, they were all dumbfounded. Sister Yi wants to borrow my sword? Is she going to challenge Guo Shanfeng one-on-one? No way, no way. Is Xiangyi trying to make me laugh to death? If it's an iron sword, there might be hope, but a peachwood sword. I'm afraid it's too late. I give up. Why is she still pretending at a time like this? Aren't everyone's lives worth more than their own lives? Xiangyi is so annoying. What can a peachwood sword do? Does she really think that Bai Xie's feudal crap is going to work? Can't she use her brain? Everyone kept criticizing, but the eyes of the Spicy Tutu fans lit up with hope. Maybe Sister Yi really has a way? Based on their understanding of Xiangyi, she wouldn't have made such a request if she wasn't completely confident. Amidst the doubts of the crowd, Xiangyi simply repeated, Taoist priest, sword. Taoist Ran hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and pulled out the peachwood sword before tossing it to Xiangyi. Forget it. I'm going to die anyway. Giving the sword to Xiangyi might give me a chance to turn the tables. The moment he pulled out the sword, Guo Shanfeng moved as well. His several-meter-long body moved at an incredible speed. Countless people in front of the screen closed their eyes. It's over. The first one to be bitten will definitely be Taoist Ran, who's the closest. The scene was so thrilling that some people at the scene couldn't help but scream. Immediately, it caused a chain reaction as panic screams sounded one after another. Ah! I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Help! Whoa! The audience, who could barely muster up the courage to continue watching the live stream, turned pale and broke out in cold sweat. This is scarier than a horror movie. This is a live stream of death. In the blink of an eye, a few seconds passed. To everyone's surprise, not only did Guo Shanfeng not bite Taoist Ran, on the contrary, screech, hiss. Two fearful voices sounded one after another. The audience, who had closed their eyes, secretly opened their eyes, only to be instantly dumbfounded. The 7th inch of the mountain was actually nailed to the tree by Xiangyi's sword. To a snake, the 7th inch was the most fatal spot. It could be said that this sword strike had caused Guo Shanfeng to lose most of his combat power. The live stream was silent for a few seconds before the comments exploded at a terrifying speed. WTF? What the F***ck did I see? Am I hallucinating, or are there special effects in the live stream room? I'm going to split it open. Wasn't that a peachwood sword? The peachwood sword pierced through the snake's body and stabbed into the tree? What is this operation? But more than that, there was a sentence that came from the bottom of everyone's heart. Sister Yi is awesome. Everyone at the scene was also stunned. Was the scene in front of him real? How strong was Sister Yi's arm strength when she stabbed the peachwood sword into the tree? Everyone thought that they were saved, but a sudden change occurred. Sister, be careful. Sure, you shouted. Guo Shanfeng's 7th inch was nailed, but he did not lose all ability to move. His upper body straightened, and he opened his fangs to bite Xiangyi. No one expected such a turn of events. Sister E. It's over. It's really over. That was the unanimous thought in the minds of countless people. Unexpectedly, Xiangyi's body was as agile as a dragon. With a run-up, she leaped directly onto another tree. The girl's climbing speed was simply breathtaking. In an instant, she seemed to have activated the flash function in the game and easily avoided Gue Shanfeng's attack. Chapter 699. Xiangyi's godly maneuver could be described as heavenly, and it was so beautiful that it made one's scalp tingle. Hiss! Hiss! Gue Shanfeng spat out his tongue, but it was all in vain as he couldn't reach Xiangyi at all. The others had long distanced themselves from her. The excruciating pain coming from his weak spot gradually made Gue Shanfeng lose his strength. Soon, Gue Shanfeng curled up into a ball in exhaustion. Everyone at the scene was relieved. In the live stream, the viewers were all dumbfounded. Is she climbing a tree or using Qinggong? Oh my god! Sister E is faster than a monkey when it comes to climbing trees. I got it, I got it. She nailed a snake with her sword and climbed a tree in a second. She learned some useless survival skills again. Sister E is God. Xiang E is a fake. I won't accept any rebuttals. Everyone at the scene looked at each other in disbelief. Such a thrilling and exciting crisis was actually resolved just like that. Recalling the scene that just happened, everyone was in disbelief. Is this a live stream of a variety show? Or is this a movie? Every scene was full of dramatic effects. Before anyone could react, they hurriedly replayed the scene. The girl's black hair was soft and she looked very obedient when she was still, but when she was really frozen, her posture was full of vigor, beautiful and valiant. Be it the strength of the sword, the angle, or the decisiveness and suaveness when she ran up the tree, they were all emotional and couldn't help but watch again and again. Not long after, professionals from the fire department and the forestry bureau arrived to deal with the aftermath. Xiangyi jumped down from the tree with steady footsteps and a calm expression. She handed the peach wood sword back to Ran Daoren. Thank you, Taoist priest. Taoist priest Ran was in a daze. You're welcome. When he came back to his senses, he hurriedly said, Xiangyi, I should be the one thanking you. Without you, Gue Shanfeng would have bitten me and I would be dead. The tense atmosphere in the live stream dissipated, and everyone was even in the mood to joke around. Sister E, come on, Xiao Ren, I'll teach you what it means to fly with a sword. Sister E says she believes in science while showing us what metaphysics is. She's watching the live stream with a foreign friend. She now thinks that everyone in China knows martial arts. Wry smile. On the internet, someone edited the video of the confrontation between Xiangyi and Gue Shanfeng. As soon as it was uploaded, it received hundreds of thousands of likes. Related trending searches rose steadily, dominating the charts in minutes. Hashtag Sister E Riseby hashtag Xiangyi Flying Immortal with one sword hashtag Chinese Kung Fu hashtag Xiang Family's Ancestral Tree Climbing Skill hashtag Contemporary Swordsman Duel Video hashtag Sister. Shi Yu immediately threw himself into Xiangyi's arms. No matter how smart he was still a child physically and mentally. His eyes were completely red. Xiangyi patted his back and comforted him softly. I'm fine. How are you? Are you scared? Shi Yu shook his head. After thinking for a while, he pursed his lips and nodded. He didn't want to lie in front of Xiangyi. I'm sorry, if I had known that it would be so dangerous in the mountains, I wouldn't have brought you out, Xiangyi said as she rubbed Shi Yu's hair. As soon as she looked up, she met Shi Sui's abyss-like gaze. In the next second, she was pulled into Shi Sui's arms. He was so forceful that she felt as if he was going to melt her into his bones. At this moment, the number of online viewers of the Two Under One Roof live stream exceeded the 20 million mark in just a few minutes, breaking a small rule and setting another record. The Nanjing Historical and Cultural Research Institute also updated their status. Ms. Xiangyi is invited to be a guest professor of our institute. Chapter 700. In an instant. The academic community was shocked. Generally, teachers would have to be in their 30s or 40s to be appointed as professors. Being a guest professor was an honorary title that didn't have as high requirements as being appointed as a professor. However, it was basically given to well-known scholars, entrepreneurs, inventors, and so on. They were often older too. But how old was Xiongyi? 20 years old. A 20-year-old guest professor. There weren't many in the entire country. Netizens arrived at the scene one after another, and the comment section of this Weibo post became lively. Sister E is probably the youngest professor in history, right? No. Her second brother, Xiong Li, was appointed as a professor at the age of 17 or 18. I'm kneeling down to him. Sister E isn't that good, but she's still very impressive. Our kid is so hardworking. Her old mother shed tears of relief and kicked OD, who can't even solve a second-grade math problem. I'm dying of laughter. She can be appointed as a professor just because she drew a few scribbles? Are the guest professors in the academic community so lousy? Eh? What do you mean by scribbles? If you're so good, go ahead. First, they were in danger, and then they were lucky enough to be rescued. The production crew's limbs were all weak. Just now, they couldn't react at all and forced themselves to continue with the live stream. After being rescued, everyone didn't even have the strength to hold the equipment. The live stream ended at the scene where Shi Sui hugged Xiongyi tightly. At the scene, Xiongyi said softly, "Shi Sui, don't be afraid, we're safe now." As a result, the young girl felt the hands on her waist tighten even more. The man lowered his eyes, his emotions difficult to discern. Xiongyi thought that he was angry and patted the man on the back. I wasn't impulsive. I weighed the pros and cons before making up my mind. I'm almost 90% sure that I can get rid of that snake. She had been in danger too many times in the past, and even after returning to this world for so long, her physical and mental instincts were still there. Xiongyi didn't think that today's danger was anything special. The man's hoarse voice sounded beside her ear. I'm not angry. After a pause he said, Our sister E did very well. Xiongyi was a little happy to be praised by the person she loved. She rubbed herself against his chest. She seemed to be acting spoiled. Shi Sui gently rubbed the back of the girl's neck. His long and narrow eyes were filled with ruthlessness and malice. He was thinking about what Xiongyi had gone through in the past year. Did he suffer a lot? Suffered a lot of grievances? A lot of tears? Such a nice little rabbit. He didn't dare to think too deeply about it. Li Jianyu rested for a while, rubbed his face with his hands, and shouted, Everyone, cheer up. It's getting late, and it gets dark quickly in the mountains. Let's hurry down the mountain and go back to eat something warm. It's my treat tonight. Everyone was still in a state of shock. The word treat didn't cause any waves, and they numbly packed up their things. Until the girl's sweet voice entered everyone's ears. The weather is so hot. The ducks at home must have gotten heat stroke. Let's go back and cook a duck. If they get heat stroke, won't we get heat stroke after eating it? Hey, what's there to be afraid of? Just eat it with Isatis indigotica. I'm calling you an expert. Even Master Fang and the others will praise this dish. The eyes of the people who were like walking corpses suddenly lit up. Even the pace of their journey had become much lighter. The professional rescue workers in charge of the aftermath swallowed their saliva. The ducks were so greedy. Cough, so miserable. Chapter 701. Although the staff members were carrying equipment, they walked at the front. On the other hand, Shi Sui carried Shi Yu with one hand and held Xiongyi with the other. The three of them walked at the back. Shi Yu's little face was pale. He was a child after all. At first, he did not want Shi Sui to carry him. But not long after, he was so tired that he fell asleep with his arms around his uncle's neck. His thick and long eyelashes cast a shadow, soft and obedient. The little boy was so cute that Xiongyi could not help but take a few more glances at him. Shi Sui's expression did not change. She turned Shi Yu's little head to her other shoulder. Xiangyi, watch the road, the man reminded her in a low voice. Xiangyi muttered softly, stingy. Oh. Ahem, little uncle said that he will come over tonight. He will be so happy to see Shi Yu. Little Uncle Xiang Feng was famous for liking children. Unfortunately, he had been single since birth and could only take care of other people's cute children. Even after such a thrilling experience, Shi Sui's shirt was still neat and tidy. However, she took off her gold-rimmed glasses. Without the glasses blocking her peach blossom eyes, the visual impact was too strong. He said in a muffled voice, "Do you like Shi Yu very much?" The sun was setting in the west, and the evening wind was gentle. Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. "Boyfriend, are you jealous? Or are you jealous of a child?" Shi Sui lowered his long eyelashes and was silent for a few seconds. Then he said, "Yes." Xiangyi could not help but laugh. She explained helplessly and amusedly, "Liking Shi Yu is different from liking you. Also, I think Shi Yu is very much like you. When I see him, I always think about what you were like when you were young." After all, the two of them were 7 years apart. Xiangyi had missed his childhood. In her impression, Shi Sui was already a calm and gentle big brother next door when she first met him. Therefore, it was difficult for her to imagine Shi Sui when he was young. Shi Yu's appearance made up for this regret. "Are you curious?" Shi Sui's voice was clear and pleasant. "When I was young, I didn't seem to be cute or likable at all." Xiangyi retorted, "Of course not. You must be the cutest kid in the world." Shi Sui chuckled and changed the topic. "What's Yaya going to do? Roast duck? Braised duck?" Those unbearable and dark years were not worth mentioning. There was no need for her to know. When it came to food, Xiangyi became spirited and started counting the menu with her small hands. "Roast duck is definitely a must. The duck rack can be fried, and then we can make braised duck neck, braised duck wings, and duck blood and vermicelli soup." The thin rays of sunlight fell on his back, elongating his shadow. She was going home. 2 hours later, the live stream of Two Under One Roof was opened, and the number of viewers who flooded in almost caused the server to explode. Other than the loyal fans, there were also many newcomers. "I'm here because of your reputation. Sister E, teach me. I want to learn swordsmanship. Can anyone answer me, how good is Xiangyi's combat skills? If you don't know, just ask. Isn't this a martial arts show? Why are you cooking now?" In the kitchen, Xiangyi had her hair tied up in a bun, and her skin was as fair as snow. She was leisurely scooping out a large spoonful of braised duck meat from the pot. The camera zoomed in and gave her a close-up. The duck neck, duck wings, and duck collarbone had all been braised to a crisp, fragrant, and spicy state. It was as if the meat would be separated from the bones with just a little bit of force. Gulp. The new fans were in a daze. This. Why is my mouth not listening to me? Chapter 702. The impact of the braised food was strong enough. However, this was just the beginning. The new fans watched helplessly as Xiangyi turned on the oven again. The roast duck was roasted to a caramel color, and the fat sizzled under the high temperature as it dripped onto the roasting pan. The new fans were going crazy. Immediately after, Xiangyi fried the duck rack and cooked duck blood and vermicelli soup. It was a complete duck feast. The girl's movements were clean and neat, and her coordination skills were amazing. Multitasking was a basic skill, and she didn't seem flustered while cooking several dishes at the same time. In the live stream, "I'm so hungry, but I just ate." Isn't Xiangyi a sword immortal? Aren't sword immortals supposed to be otherworldly? Why is she so proficient in cooking? Forget about being a sword immortal. What the hell is a sword immortal? Our sister E is just an ordinary super straight A student, god of cookery, folk music big shot, traditional Chinese medicine expert, talisman genius, tree climbing genius, magical girl, You have already mastered the essence of the common language. The countless new fans in front of their screens were dumbfounded. However, there were also countless new fans who couldn't help but click on the yellow and blue apps. All of a sudden, orders for braised duck neck, roast duck, and duck blood and vermicelli soup skyrocketed across the country. Not long after, the live stream was full of complaints. F***CK. A certain black duck store is sold out. I've already paid for my order, but the boss called me and told me to cancel it. He said that there's no duck supply today. Oh my god. Why is it so difficult to eat duck? It's so hard to get a duck. Li Jianyu reluctantly spent a huge sum of money and ordered takeout for the staff so that everyone could take turns eating. However, everyone was eating absent-mindedly. They were all obviously waiting for Xiangyi's duck. When the girl called out, it was no exaggeration to say that everyone was so excited that it was as if they were celebrating the new year. The duck is here, the duck is here. Ah, it's the duck. It smells so good, I can smell it. In the living room, Taoist Ran had gotten himself a cattail hassock from somewhere and was sitting cross-legged on the floor, meditating. He had the posture of a peerless expert. Taoist Ren's lips curled into a contemptuous smile when he heard the commotion. Nothing more than that. Even if it was a delicacy, it could only satisfy one's appetite. Someone passed by him and urged, "Master, please stop meditating. Otherwise, the ducks will be gone soon." Taoist Ren opened his eyes. His gaze was like a torch. He flicked his horsetail whisk and said, "You young people are as kind as water. Water benefits all living things but does not compete. It deals with the evils of the masses and is close to the Tao." The man was dumbfounded. Huh? What are you trying to say? Taoist Ran, let nature take its course, follow your heart's desires, and do nothing. Do you understand? As expected of the Taoist priest. I'm ashamed of my inferiority to your spiritual realm. The viewers in the live stream were stunned. Is the Taoist priest some kind of Taoist master? These words, if you think about it carefully, they're extremely thoughtful. Kindness like water. Follow your heart's desires. Thank you, Taoist priest. I feel like I've comprehended something. In the next second, Xiangyi poked her head out of the kitchen. Taoist priest, your pot is ready. Taoist Ren, okay. The large pot on Taoist Ren's back was now filled to the brim. At the bottom was the braised food, in the middle were several large pieces of duck rack and fried mushrooms, and at the top was a roast duck roll with shredded cucumber, shredded onion, and sweet sauce. Everyone? F***CK. Chapter 703. So it's not that you don't want to fight for it, but you've already taken it all. What a ruthless person. Under the dumbfounded gazes of the crowd, Taoist Ren didn't seem to feel guilty at all. He calmly and leisurely stepped forward and steadily picked up the big pot. He said politely, "Xiangyi, you're too polite. You've put in too much. It's too heavy, I can't hold it anymore." Everyone was speechless. "Look at how skillful you are, you can probably handle another pot." Xiangyi was still smiling. She brought out a large bowl of duck blood and vermicelli soup and suggested to Taoist Ran, "I think it would be good to change it to a double-flavored pot. It can also be filled with soup and porridge, so there's no need to worry about the flavors between the dishes." Taoist Ren's body trembled as if he had been enlightened. He stood on the spot and said, It can actually be done like that." Everyone was speechless. Taoist Ran, those who don't know better would think that you guys are discussing cultivation. Who would have thought that you guys are talking about carrying a pot? And Sister E, you're too indulgent. What double-flavored pot? If you want to carry a pot, you should at least carry 4 or 9 palaces. The dining table was filled with a sumptuous dinner. Yu's back was straight and his sitting posture was upright, like a gentleman's etiquette textbook. However, the little boy's eyes were already glued to the duck. "It smells so good. I'm so hungry. I really want to eat." Xiangyi placed a bowl of soup in front of him and pinched his little face. "Yu, is there anything else you want to eat?" Shiryu shook his head. Then try it first to see if it's to your liking. If you want to eat something else, let me know, okay? Shiryu nodded. Xiang Feng had just returned not long ago. He leaned back in his chair in enjoyment and shook his legs as he smelled the aroma. Little Yu, eat more. Boys can only grow taller if they eat more. Only by climbing trees can they climb faster. The bullet screen of the live stream was filled with joy. Mr. Xiang, don't lead the children astray. No, you've misunderstood, Mr. Xiang. Climbing trees is an escape skill. Mr. Xiang is doing this for the children's future. Climbing trees is not just an escape skill. Didn't you see that Sister E used it as a combat skill? I strongly suggest that our country should include tree climbing into the compulsory education system. Shi Sui glanced at him from the corner of her eyes. She saw through the child's thoughts and said lightly, "You can eat now." The food under Shiryu's table shook excitedly because of her words. He picked up his chopsticks, picked up a small piece of meat from the braised duck neck, and put it into his mouth. Boom! In an instant, the rich taste of sweet, spicy, fresh, fragrant, and numbing attacked the little Shota's tender taste buds. His black and white eyes were wide open, and he seemed to have forgotten to chew, not knowing what to do with it in his mouth. In this world, there was actually such delicious food. Shiryu's parents had a light palate and mainly ate vegetarian food. Shiryu rarely ate meat, let alone spicy food. Today's bite had opened the door to a whole new world for him. Xiangyi and Xiang Feng, one on the left and one on the right, served the little boy food and soup. Taking care of others was probably an instinct of the Xiang family. Spoiling their young was even more of an instinct. Thus, in a trance, Shiryu experienced the feeling of happiness that was described in the cartoon. The uncle and nephew of the Xiang family even had a friendly discussion. Children are actually quite easy to take care of. Yeah, who said it's hard to take care of children? I've never met a child that's hard to take care of. The live stream audience. Please use this method on me. Chapter 704. The pop-up comments immediately turned into a large-scale family reunion. Daddy, sister. I'm the long-lost baby of your Xiang family. I'm the most difficult kid to take care of in the entire universe. Give me an address. I'll send myself to you right away. Don't you guys feel embarrassed calling me daddy all the time? Don't you know that people need face and tree bark? Grandpa, take care of me. Under the meticulous care of the Xiang uncle and nephew, for the first time in his life, Shiryu ate to his heart's content. In the end, the little boy ate until his belly was round and round. While burping, he couldn't help but drink a few mouthfuls of duck blood and vermicelli soup. Xiang Feng led him to take a shower, then turned around and asked Shi Sui, "I'm going to take this little brat for a swim after the shower. Taoist priest, Shi Sui, are you guys coming?" Taoist priest Ren was extremely thick-skinned. Exercising after meals is really good for health. Before Shi Sui could respond, the pop-up comments in the live stream room had already gone crazy. The manor was big enough to have both an outdoor and an indoor swimming pool. Shi Sui glanced at Xiangyi. The little girl was lowering her head and drinking the soup, spoonful by spoonful, obediently and softly. Hearing their conversation, Xiangyi raised her head and met Shi Sui's eyes. She blinked her doe eyes and asked, "Uncle, Taoist priest, do you want anything to drink? I'll bring you some water later." "Whatever." Xiang Feng dragged Shiryu out. Although Taoist priest Ran was thick-skinned, his EQ was high, so he followed with a smile. Only Shi Sui and Xiangyi were left in the living room. The cameraman was not there, but the fixed camera in the living room was running, and subtle sounds could be heard. Thump, thump. An ambiguous atmosphere was brewing uncontrollably, and the surrounding temperature seemed to have risen by several degrees. Xiangyi thought that the duck blood and vermicelli soup must be too salty. Otherwise, why would her throat be so dry? She unconsciously licked the corner of her lips. "Aren't you going?" Shi Sui squinted at her with a faint smile. Sister E, do you want me to go? The man's voice was low and magnetic. After deliberately lowering it, there was a hint of hoarseness in it, which sounded very seductive. In the live stream, I screamed until the voice-activated lights on all 30 floors lit up for me. Sister E, quickly agree. Don't you want to unlock the swimsuit version of Shuringdi? OMG, Shuringdi is so good. Woo-woo, asking like this really makes me feel like I'm in love. I'm getting a concussion from being teased in front of the screen. Under the light, the aroma of the rice wafted in the air. It was a warm and beautiful scene. Xiangyi's face was calm. Up to you. However, she quickly added, I'll get you a bath towel? It seemed like he was given a choice. In fact, he had already conveyed his intentions. Shi Sui chuckles and receives the little girl's signal calmly. Okay, I'll go change first. After he left, Xiangyi quietly pinched her burning ears. That scene happened to be captured by the camera. In front of the screen, the audience all smiled like an ant. Li Jianyu deliberately played a naughty trick and suddenly changed the screen. Hey, it's not good to do a live stream of swimming or something. The pop-up comments were all urging him to start a live stream. Swimming is a healthy sport, it should be popularized to more people. I have a friend who is terminally ill. Her last wish is to see Shuringdi's abs. Are we the ones who want to see it? Sister E wants to see it. Sister Yi's request must be fulfilled. Dog head. Live stream. If you dare to live stream, I'll call you daddy from now on. Chapter 705. The group of people who usually arrogantly called Director Li to smash the food were now crying and calling him daddy. This was probably. Life was full of ups and downs. Don't bully the young for being poor, right? Xiangyi prepared a few drinks and distributed them to the crew. The camera panned over, and the audience in front of the screen almost burst out laughing. In the courtyard, the crew took turns to eat the duck banquet, just like a large zombie feeding scene. Everyone was desperately stuffing food into their mouths. The lighting engineer and the sound collector were fighting online for a mouthful of the duck rack. The makeup artist and her assistant were tearing each other's hair out over the last bowl of duck blood vermicelli soup, and the cameraman who was eating and laughing maniacally, in the live stream, Duck duck, have a safe trip. Ha ha ha, another one has gone crazy. Sister E, you must have drugged the duck. With Xiangyi's sour plum soup, strawberry orange juice, peach-flavored water, and soy milk, a new round of fighting broke out. Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She wanted to go to the kitchen to make more supper. Li Jianyu said, you can film the food too. I'll get old Zhang to switch to the camera for the live stream. In the next second, Ruan Qing pushed Xiangyi towards the swimming pool. Sister E, go give Shi Sui and the others some water first. Many female audience members in front of the screen chuckled. Indeed, women knew women better. Director Li was just a younger brother. Smiley face. It was a hot summer day, and the outdoor swimming pool was a good place to cool off. Xiangyi arrived at the pool, put down the drink and towel, and turned her small face. The cameraman was filming from her perspective, so the camera naturally turned to her. The first person that caught everyone's attention was Ran Daoist. He was in his 30s and had bronze-colored muscles. He had a wild and unrestrained beauty. He was holding a gourd in his hand and drinking wine casually. From time to time, he would recite a few lines of poetry to the moon, giving off an otherworldly aura. Everyone. I'm crying, my figure isn't as good as Daoist's. Then, it was Xiang Feng and Shi Yu. Although Xiang Feng usually looked like a simple-minded person, he was actually very sporty. Moreover, with the good genes of the Xiang family, he still had a few abdominal muscles. He carried the soft and obedient Shi Yu as if he was carrying a little chick. He put the little yellow duck swimming hoop on Shi Yu and said, "Come, Grandpa will teach you how to splash water." Shi Yu tilted his head and imitated him for a while. Then, he boldly scooped up a handful of water and splashed it at Xiang Feng. Xiang Feng chuckled. Not bad, not bad. You're a fast learner. But little Yu, Grandpa will now teach you what it means to be beaten up by society. Shiryu was speechless. The audience in the live stream room. CEO Xiong is such a good man, why can't he be mute? The biggest weakness of the Xiong family's Feng Feng, too bad he can talk. Help, I'm dying of laughter. Shiryu is still a baby. Why did he have to bully him like this? The child is dumbfounded. In the end, the camera lived up to everyone's expectations, and fell on Shui. The man was only wearing a pair of tight black swimming trunks. His hair was all combed back, and his eyes were clean and clear. His abdominal muscles were well defined, and his Apollo's belt reached his waistline. He had broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and long legs. He had a standard inverted triangle figure, just like a walking hormone. Sensing the sound of Xiang Yi's footsteps, he turned his face to the side and smiled in Xiang Yi's direction. Chapter 706. In Shui's movies and TV series, Xiang Yi had seen him smile in many different ways. Innocent, ruthless, desperate, and ruthless. But none of them had made her feel as moved as she did now. The girl nodded at him calmly, but her heart was beating wildly. The live stream had gone crazy. Those abs. My nose is bleeding. Good guy, Shui doesn't treat us as outsiders, does he? Sisters, I believe I'm not the only one who is Doraemon. Hey, if you want to talk about this, I'm not sleepy anymore. The comment section flew by quickly, dazzling everyone. After bullying Shiryu for a while, Xiang Feng finally found his conscience and brought the little brat to Xiang Yi's side. Shiryu's face was sullen, as if he was sulking. Xiang Yi carefully dried his hair with a towel and asked, "Do you want something to drink?" Shiryu shook his head and sat down obediently without saying a word. Xiang Yi poked the little boy's cheek. "Are you angry? Do you want me to help you take revenge?" Shiryu's eyelashes were wet, and he looked a little like a newborn puppy. He sounded a little depressed. "I'm not angry, I just feel that I'll be leaving in a few days." Sister Xiang Yi's family was so blissful. But he would have to leave sooner or later. He told himself that he couldn't be a greedy child, but he was still greedy. He wanted to stay here forever, eat Sister Xiang Yi's delicious food, and listen to her warm fairy tales. Xiang Yi was stunned. She didn't expect Shiryu's answer to be like this. You, if you want to come and play, you can come any time," Xiang Yi said with a smile. "I read in a book that people who meet will meet again. So we'll definitely have many opportunities to meet again in the future." Shiryu's eyelashes fluttered, and he obediently wrapped the towel around himself. "Really? Can I?" Before he finished speaking, Xiang Feng's shout came from not far away. "Little Xiang Yi, help us be the referee. We're going to compete." Xiang Yi made a hand gesture to indicate okay. "Xiang Feng, I'll count to 321. Get ready, then we'll start. 3, 2. Before he could finish counting, Xiang Feng had already jumped into the water and seized the initiative. Taoist Ren was confused. "I can't believe that there is someone more shameless than me in this world." He jumped into the water and chased after Xiang Feng with all his might. On the other hand, Shui was still on the shore. She stretched her wrists and ankles lazily, as if she did not care about the competition at all. Xiang Yi was anxious. She clenched her small fist and said, "Boyfriend, you can do it." Hearing the girl's voice, Shui glanced at her, raised her eyebrows, and then jumped into the water. Her posture was standard like that of a professional athlete. Although Xiang Feng was the first to dive into the water, he ran out of strength halfway through. On the other hand, Ran Daozhong had better stamina and swam to the front. However, Shui was like a fish in water. In the blink of an eye, she had closed the distance between them. The man's figure was tall and slender, and he was nimble and agile in the water. His strength and beauty were undoubtedly revealed at this moment. 5 meters, 3 meters, 1 meter. Whoosh. Taking advantage of Ran Daozhong's respiration, Shui directly overtook him, and then firmly held the first place. The audience watched with surging emotions. "Sure, Ingdi's stamina is not bad. Sister Yi's small body, can she handle it in the future? Wake up. Sister Yi is the girl who nailed a several-meter-long mountain peak into a tree with a sword. Everyone should be worried about Shengdi, right? The live stream instantly fell into a mysterious silence. Chapter 707. That's true. Xiangyi was someone who could lift pots that weighed more than 10 kilograms, slaughter little black pigs that weighed more than 100 kilograms, and beat up vicious fugitives when it came to beating people up. In comparison, Shengdi seemed a little delicate. Someone asked, Shengdi, can he do it? Instantly, everyone rushed to answer, I know this question. Shengdi can't. Don't ask. If you ask, our Shi Sui can't do it. Does it matter if he can or not? Can't Sister Yi do it? The new fans were at a loss. Did Shengdi have so many haters? However, when they clicked on the most vicious accounts, they realized that most of them were Shi Sui sisters. The new fans were speechless. What kind of operation was this? Had all the Shi Sui sisters' accounts been hacked? After a few rounds of back and forth, Shi Sui took first place without any suspense. Ran Daoist came in second, with a gap of more than 10 meters between them. Xiang Feng was in an even worse state as he choked on water and panted like a dying dog. Yu walked to the side of the pool. Xiang Feng was touched. Yu, are you here to comfort Grandpa? It's okay. Grandpa has a strong mentality. In the next second, Yu pulled out an oversized water gun. Xiang Feng was confused. Yu glanced at Xiangyi guiltily. Sister Xiangyi gave this to me. Xiang Feng was speechless. Yu, listen to me. The only response he got was a merciless water gun attack. Yu's soft and tender voice rang out. Sister Xiangyi said that those who mess around have to pay for what they've done. Xiang Feng was speechless. He was a domineering CEO, yet he was killed by a little brat. This was intolerable. He was going to order a super large water gun when he got back. Shi Sui came out of the pool with her hands against the wall, her forearms showing smooth and distinct lines. Xiangyi immediately handed her a towel, but there were still some viewers who were watching the live stream who quickly took screenshots. Damn, these lines, these silhouettes. Sisters, there's a surprise after the zoom. Should I say, he's indeed Shengdi. I covered my best friend's mouth tightly to stop her from squawking. By the pool. Shi Sui was casually drying her hair when Xiangyi asked, What do you want to drink? Any recommendations? Xiangyi immediately got into character. Sir, this is the peach sparkling water I recommend for you. It has ice cubes and peppermint grass. Not only does it have the sweetness of the peach, but it also has the sourness of the bubbles. It also has a refreshing feeling. Shi Sui's eyes were gentle. Okay, that's it. Xiangyi continued to act. Sir, can you give me your contact information? Was Little Rabbit trying to put on a show? Sorry, I already have a girlfriend. She's prettier than you, so please don't disturb me. Pfft. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. What else do you want to act? It's free of charge, and I'm looking forward to it. Shi Sui's answer attracted a lot of praise from the audience. All straight men should learn. This is the standard answer. Copying homework. I'm going to trick my boyfriend later, haha, untimely 99. Please continue to show off your affection day after day. Have you guys seen Weibo? Master Yen has issued a challenge to Sister Yi. Master Yen? Let's go watch the show now. Everyone searched for Master Yen, and the relevant Weibo immediately popped up. Master Yen, successor of the Yen school. Young man, you're plagiarizing my school's swordsmanship, Tai Chi, and other techniques. This is intolerable. Let's have a showdown tomorrow. Do you dare? Xiangyi v. Chapter 708. The netizens were confused. Who is this person? Immediately, A class representative came out to speak. Master Yen is a famous martial arts master and a contracted streamer of Fan Yu streaming. He's good at Yan's swordsmanship, Yan's Tai Chi, and other martial arts, self-proclaimed. He has opened several martial arts schools in China, all closed down. He has challenged and defeated more than a dozen domestic and foreign masters, all unknown. In conclusion, I suggest you don't treat him as a martial arts master. You'll be surprised if you treat him as a comedic streamer. Everyone was speechless. So he's just a clown? But soon, everyone realized that the internet was vast and full of strange things. Master Yen really had a lot of loyal fans, and they were especially aggressive. Master Yan's swordsmanship and swordsmanship are all passed down from the Yen family. Xiangyi is a thief. Stealing without asking is called stealing. Stealing without returning is called shameless. She's a beauty, but why is she so cheap? If she's not guilty, why doesn't she dare to accept Master Yan's tactics? Of course she's afraid of him. The netizens' reactions were, well, as long as you guys are happy. Although they couldn't bear to watch it, they really couldn't. Everyone thought it was just a farce, but they didn't expect Ran Daozhong to be a surfer too. After going ashore and scrolling through Weibo, he was filled with righteous indignation. Nonsense. What nonsense? Release his mother's dog. Cough, cough, cough. Li Jianyu, who had a strong desire to survive, coughed violently to remind him. Ren Daozhong changed his words. Release his mother's dog. I'll help him. After all, I think he has nothing better to do. It could be said to be very civilized. Xiangyi took a look at Weibo and responded calmly, I'm not interested in fighting and killing. Is it because my cooking isn't good enough, or is sure you not cute enough? Good time should be spent playing the piano, reading books, learning medicine, and gardening, not wasting it on such boring people. Xiang Feng said, Tisk, such people are just clowns. Don't bother. Ren Daozhong's phone vibrated. He refreshed it and found that Master Yen had updated his status. This time, it was even more hostile and seemed to be a personal attack. Yen Men's descendant Master Yen V. Since you're a girl, I won't argue with you. But if you have a man in your family, I'll fight with you. Or let your boyfriend do it. But, your son and your boyfriend don't have any balls, right? He looked like a pretty boy in the photo. Forgive me for being blunt, but I can take on 10 of you at once. After reading this, Daoist Ran felt that the atmosphere around him had changed. The source of the change was the uncle and nephew of the Xiang clan. Xiang Feng was the first to jump up. Where's my knife? Where's my saber? Ah! How dare you scold my family? I'm the only one who can scold my family, understand? Xiangyi's delicate little face was calm. She looked very calm and steady, but when she spoke, she was extremely valiant. The girl looked up at the camera with her clear doe eyes, her gaze firm and sharp. Just because I don't like fighting and killing doesn't mean that I'm afraid of fighting and killing. Reason should be talked to. Since reason doesn't work, then I'll try peaceful means before resorting to force. Let him decide the time and place. I'll accompany you to the end. The staff at the scene were all shocked by Xiangyi's imposing manner. Oh my God! Why does the gentle sister Yi have such a domineering side to her? The viewers in the live stream were all dumbfounded. Oh my God, how is this Sister Yi? This is Brother Yi, Daddy Yi. Chapter 709. When Master Yen received the news, he was also a little dumbfounded. In reality, his martial arts club wasn't run well and he had lost a lot of money. Later on, he relied on being an internet celebrity to reap the benefits. Xiangyi actually agreed to the challenge? This was really beyond his expectations. However, Master Yen smiled contemptuously and didn't take Xiangyi seriously. She's just a young girl. Even if she started practicing martial arts in her mother's womb, she's definitely no match for me. Hashtag Xiangyi agrees to the challenge. This term quickly became a hot search and caused a heated discussion among netizens. Some of the netizens were just watching it as a joke, while others were seriously evaluating the combat effectiveness of the two of them. Master Yen may always say some strange things to gain popularity, but his strength is really impressive. He has been practicing martial arts since he was a child. I don't think I need to remind you of the importance of the virgin martial arts, right? Our Sister E isn't bad either. I feel that Sister E is the type of person in wuxia novels who is agile. She has quick reflexes and is good at using softness to overcome strength. She's no match for Master Yen. Xiangyi, 5 stars in agility, 3 stars in strength, 4 stars in stamina, 4 stars in overall combat effectiveness. Master Yen, 5 stars in agility, 5 stars in strength, 4 stars in stamina, 4 stars in overall combat effectiveness. From a probability point of view, I think Master Yen will win. Those who said that Sister E has 3 stars in strength, haven't you seen the video of her stabbing a mountain peak? The wooden sword pierced through the snake's body and into the tree. She definitely has inner strength. The two sides were arguing endlessly. This night was destined to be chaotic. The next day, Xiangyi had a very regular routine. She woke up early in the morning and exercised for a while before watering the flowers and plants. When she was almost done watering, Shi Sui also came back from her morning run. After making eye contact, Xiangyi said, "I just saw the news on Weibo. Master Yen has already booked the location for his new martial arts club. I'll go there myself later." Shi Sui said, "I'll go with you." No, I can handle it." In fact, the young girl was still a little worried about losing. She had never had the chance to test her combat effectiveness. Therefore, Xiangyi was not sure what level she was at in this world. In any case, she felt that the most powerful and cruel person in the world was her big brother. Compared to her brother, she would always be a rookie. "Do you really think I'm a gigolo?" Shi Sui walked closer and flicked her forehead, which was as smooth as porcelain. "Your boyfriend is not as weak as you think. He wasn't made of paper." He was just joking around with the little girl, but he felt that Xiangyi really treated him as little Jiao Jiao. Xiangyi said embarrassedly, "I'm not questioning you. I just don't want to embarrass myself in front of you." Shi Sui said with a faint smile, "You lost." "I'll avenge you." Xiangyi asked straightforwardly, "What if we both die?" "Then I'll take the beating with you?" Xiangyi imagined the scene of her and Shi Sui supporting each other with bruised faces after being violently beaten up. Sigh, "I feel like I'm going to be miserable." "Sister E, Daddy Shi, get ready, we're going to start the live stream." Li Jianyu and the staff adjusted the equipment, made a hand gesture, and then turned on the live stream. There were hundreds of thousands of loyal fans waiting for the live stream. Seeing the screen lit up, everyone came out to cheer for Xiangyi. However, there were also people who raised concerns. Master Yen has dozens of masters and disciples in his martial arts club. Our Sister E only has a few people. I feel like we've lost in terms of momentum. Chapter 710. Yes, even with Shi Sui, Daoist Ran, and Shi Yu, there were only 4 of them. "Achoo!" Xiang Feng sneezed and walked out of the villa yelling, "Don't think of secretly leaving me behind." He had a habit of staying up late, and making him wake up early was worse than not eating junk food for a month. But even so, Xiang Feng still stubbornly got out of bed. Moreover, he had changed into a t-shirt that people rushed over overnight. The front was printed with, "Tutu is invincible," and the back was, "I am your father." It was a combination of support and hatred, a vivid interpretation of what it meant to make the best use of everything. Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream. So there was still President Xiang. She hadn't almost forgotten about him. She had completely forgotten about him. For some reason, President Xiang never had a sense of presence. "I'll go with you." Daoist Ran followed closely behind, carrying a peachwood sword on his back and holding a white horsetail whisk in his hand. He smiled slightly and said, "Xiangyi, if you don't mind, I'm willing to hold the fort for you." In addition, He had also prepared a small surprise for Xiangyi. I want to go too. A soft voice came from Shiryu. The little boy was very good at taking care of himself. He dressed and washed up on his own, and even carried a small school bag on his back. However, there were a few strands of hair on his head that were sticking up, making him look extremely adorable. Sensing everyone's intentions, Xiangyi felt a warmth in her heart. Then let's go together. If she was embarrassed, so be it. She would just take it as a day trip. Xiangyi went to change her clothes. Xiang Feng stayed where he was, urging Daoist Ran and Shiryu to change into the support t-shirts, but was naturally rejected by the two. Since the adults couldn't handle it, Xiang Feng chuckled and reached out his claws to Shiryu. The audience who saw this scene had mixed feelings. There are finally 5 people. Including the staff, there should be about 10 or so, right? But it feels like an amateur team challenging the national team. Xiang Feng is unreliable, but he really doesn't disappoint me. Let Shiryu go, he's still a child. Wow, Xiang Yu's livestream is so good at riding on people's coattails. He even started a live stream for Master Yen. He's trying to steal the traffic. At this moment, in the dojo, the staff of Sanyu Broadcasting had arrived at the scene last night and had installed cameras from many angles. The webpage and the app had pop-up recommendations to ensure that users would be able to see Master Yan's live broadcast once they clicked on it. There was no other reason other than the fact that Jianyu Livestream and Xingchen Livestream were competitors. This time, the battle between Xiangyi and Master Yen was undoubtedly a great opportunity for them to fight for viewership. They had already designed a whole set of packaging and marketing plans for Master Yen, intending to push him to become a top internet celebrity. Then, they would imitate 2 Under One Roof and create a daily variety show in the martial arts center. Every episode, they would invite guests to learn martial arts. After learning, they would cook some delicious food, and after cooking, they would chat about life. Who knows, maybe they'll go viral all over the internet and successfully get promoted to the stars. Then, they'll export it overseas and take down 2 Under One Roof. Master Yen understood that black and red were also red. As soon as the live broadcast started, he began to say some controversial words. I advise women not to learn martial arts. It's better for them to stay at home and take care of their husbands and children. They should just do the laundry and cook. Otherwise, you'll end up like Xiangyi and be disfigured by me later. I suggest that she call her brothers and boyfriends over. Even if they attack me together, I have a way to deal with it. I'll definitely be unscathed. You guys don't have to worry about whether I can win or not. What you should worry about is whether Xiangyi can afford to lose. I think she can't afford to lose. Chapter 7:11. Stirring up conflict was always the easiest way to stir up conflict. Nowadays, the simplest thing on the internet was gender. However, as soon as these comments came out, the netizens' emotions were stirred up. Some people cursed at Master Yen, while others clapped their hands and cheered, feeling that Master Yen had spoken their minds. The public opinion instantly turned into a debate about whether women should be good husbands and raise children. Everyone had their own opinions and was in a heated argument. The person in charge of Jianyu Livestream was also at the scene and naturally turned a blind eye to Master Yan's behavior. Anyway, it was fine as long as there was traffic. What was so important about anything else? There were 2 tablets in front of him that were playing 2 Under One Roof and Master Yan's livestream at the same time. Seeing that Xiangyi and the others were about to arrive at the martial arts center, the person in charge gave the order with a confident smile on his face. Soon, Xiangyi would experience what it meant to be crushed. The black van stopped in front of the martial arts center. In order to promote the martial arts center, Master Yen made the address public and there was a huge crowd at the scene. Fortunately, Ruan Qing had the foresight to find an official and private security company to maintain order. Xiangyi got out of the car. She was dressed in a white sportswear, looking clean and youthful. There was a heated discussion in the crowd. Wow, she's indeed a celebrity. She's so beautiful in person. Sister Yi's face is so small. I feel like my face is twice as big as hers. I feel good watching live streams. She's too skinny, she can't take a beating. After Shi Sui got out of the car, the cheers at the scene reached a peak. In addition to the strong popularity, many of Shi Sui's sisters also rushed to the scene. Shi Sui! Shi Sui! Hearing a few hysterical voices, Shi Sui's gaze fell on the crowd and he gently gestured for them to keep quiet. As if by magic, the crowd really quieted down. Shi Sui nodded slightly as a form of greeting. There was nothing wrong with her etiquette and demeanor. Everyone entered the martial arts center. Xiangyi and the others were all dressed in sportswear and were dressed casually. Obviously, they didn't take the battle very seriously. However, Master Yen was different. He was wearing a black practice suit with golden embroidery on it. It looked quaint and textured. His disciples, on the other hand, were all dressed in white training clothes with black belts around their waists. They looked very ostentatious. The audience in the live stream could clearly feel the difference. U1S1, Master Yen and the others are really impressive. Sister E and the others are too shabby, they're completely relying on their looks. Ha ha ha, Shiryu has nothing left to live for. He's wearing that I am your father t-shirt until it's almost up to his ankles. Master Yen looked Xiangyi up and down, his nostrils overflowing with a light sneer. You? Little girl, I advise you to go back and practice. Do you know how to do the horse stance? Can you do it for half an hour at a time? What you plagiarized was only my school of Yan swordsmanship and Tai Chi, but the true essence of my school of Yen is the basics. Xiangyi interrupted him. If you want to fight, then fight. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Master Yen flew into a rage out of humiliation. Young man, you don't understand etiquette. You don't have any morals. The dozens of disciples behind him also pointed at Xiangyi and mocked her. All of a sudden, Taoist Ran said loudly, before the official competition, let's welcome fellow Taoist Min from Baiyun Temple, fellow Taoist Su from Jade Spring Temple, fellow Taoist Yu from Yongla Palace. Master Yen was speechless. What? You're calling for external help? Chapter 712. He looked at the door with a dumbfounded expression. Several Taoist priests and Taoist nuns, who were either dressed in Taoist robes or training attire, entered. Those who were familiar with contemporary Taoist culture would know that they were all big shots. There was an uproar in the live stream. Wow, are these Taoist priests here to watch the battle? Impressive, they actually managed to invite so many big shots. I wonder who they're doing this for? Is it Sister E or Master Yen? Taoist Ren was still introducing them loudly. Fellow Taoist Zhang from Mount Song Temple. Fellow Taoist Wang from Yellow Dragon Temple. Master Yan's fans immediately rushed to comment in the live stream. These experts are obviously here for our Master Yen. Xiangyi is just a woman, how could she possibly know people of this level? Master Yen has traveled the world and has a wide range of friends. It's normal for him to have some friends to help him in the battle. They said it confidently, but they were immediately slapped in the face. After listening to Taoist Ren's eloquent recitation of dozens of names, Taoist Ren leisurely said, "Thank you, fellow Taoists, for coming to support our little friend Xiangyi." There was an uproar. These Taoist priests are all here for Xiangyi? In other words, these big shots are all here to support Xiangyi. Xiangyi herself was quite confused. Her little head, which was tied into a bun, tilted as she curiously sized up the people who had come. These new Taoist priests looked at Xiangyi with a very friendly gaze. Although it was their first time meeting her, they seemed to have seen Xiangyi many times. Little friend Xiangyi, do your best and don't have any regrets. Calm your mind and don't let the outside world disturb you. It doesn't matter if you lose. In life, let nature take its course and let fate take its course. A lot of chicken soup for the soul was sent to Xiangyi. Xiangyi, thank you. The live stream viewers. Sister E is so popular. Oh my God, who said Sister E doesn't have any face? With dozens of Taoist priests, I just want to ask, who? Who? Master Yen is so lowly, I feel like his disciples are extras hired for 50 yuan a day. Sister E is a gathering of big shots. Grandmaster Yen steadied his heart and opened his mouth to distort the truth. Heh, you think that by using such methods to pressure me, I will waver? You're underestimating the martial artists of the sect of the Yen sect. I'll never give in the dark. The expressions of the disciples behind him changed. As expected of Master. Xiang Feng rolled his eyes and ridiculed, "Can you cut down on your acting? Let me tell you, when it comes to acting, we have professionals here." Shi Sui Master Yen shivered when he met Shi Sui's gaze. For some reason, the young man's gaze made his heart palpitate for no reason. His aura was too terrifying. Master Yen avoided Shi Sui's gaze and cupped his hands at Xiangyi. "I'm Yen Dazhuang from the sect of the Yen sect. Please enlighten me." Xiangyi. What a ritualistic gesture. She was about to say a few perfunctory words when her uncle Xiang Feng beat her to it. She's the successor of the god of cookery, the personal disciple of the medical sage, the giver of the muse, the girl of magic, the queen of martial arts, the guardian goddess of Little Rabbit Farm. It's her, Xiangyi. Master Yen. Everyone. The live stream viewers. Xiangyi. Xiangyi was so embarrassed that she wanted to dig out a demon immortal castle with her toes. Chapter 713. After Xiang Feng finished bragging, he still felt like he hadn't had enough. "My little niece is the cutest and most outstanding kid in the world. I can't praise her too much." Shi Yu, who was at the side, nodded repeatedly. "Yes, Grandpa is right. Sister Xiangyi is just that good." The comment section of the live stream was filled with laughter. "I'm laughing so hard that my head is about to explode. It's such a pity that Mr. Xiang isn't a talk show host. The magical girl, the martial arts queen, the guardian goddess of Little Rabbit Farm, ha ha ha." After the exchange of moves, Master Yen began his performance. He first got into a horse stance, then pushed forward with both hands, looking like he was trying to circulate his qi. Xiangyi had developed a good habit of being cautious when she transmigrated, which was not to underestimate any opponent. Even if the other party looked weak. She observed Master Yen and did not act rashly. However, the other party's behavior confused her greatly. After circulating his qi, Master Yen circled around her again and again. From time to time, he would make strange sounds like meh and haya. Xiangyi was speechless. The girl frowned. She suspected that the other party was pretending to be a tactic. He was pretending to be crazy to hide his true strength, but in fact, he was waiting for an opportunity to kill her in one blow. Master Yan's fans thought so too. "You guys think Master Yen is on the first floor, but you don't know that he's on the 5th floor. He's predicting Xiangyi's movements. With this kind of strength, he's probably a peerless expert, a half-step master. Seeking changes in changes, Master Yan's skills have improved again. Through rapid movements, he can deduce mysterious countermeasures. With his basic skills and flexible fighting style, Master Yen is in the bag." However, in the eyes of most people, the battle between the two of them was so boring. "Please, Sister E, move. Please, Master Yen, stop circling around." Some haters who didn't mind watching the show roared in the comment section, "You guys can't kill him like this." Xiang Feng was extremely nervous and kept asking Shi Sui, "How is it? Do you think little Xiangyi can beat this old man?" Shi Sui looked at him quietly. For some reason, Xiang Feng saw a trace of pity in his eyes. Daoist Ran and the others had a rough idea of what was going on. This Grandmaster Yen was just a pretty face. He reckoned that he had Tongzi Gong, but it was obvious that he had abandoned it. His footsteps were light and his lower body was unstable. It was obvious that he had abandoned himself to the world of mortals and had abandoned practicing martial arts. Although it looked imposing, it was only enough to scare laymen. "It's not too late for you to admit defeat now. Master Yen roared. Xiangyi? ? Was he going to use his mouth to attack? Master Yen thought that he had confused Xiangyi, so he threw a punch at Xiangyi's face. Xiangyi dodged sideways. Because of Master Yan's action, an argument broke out in the live stream. Some people felt that no matter what, they shouldn't hit someone in the face, not to mention that Xiangyi was an artist. There were also some people who felt that a martial arts competition was a martial arts competition. Was there a need to differentiate between men and women, old and young? The two of them exchanged a few moves. Basically, it was Master Yen attacking and Xiangyi defending. Master Yen was ecstatic. He won. He definitely won. This Xiangyi was obviously a noob. Ah! With a sudden scream, Master Yen was kicked to the ground by Xiangyi. He lay on the ground, unable to move. The audience was so silent that one could hear a pin drop. Xiangyi had KO'd Master Yen with one move. The little girl looked confused and muttered to herself, That's it. Chapter 7:14. No. This must be a tactic. There must be a backup plan. The girl calmed herself down and looked serious, ready to land the killing blow at any time. But 1 second passed. 10 seconds passed. Half a minute passed in the blink of an eye. Master Yen was still lying on the ground like he was dead. The live stream viewers, what's going on? Is he dead? Sister Yi's flying kick was so cool. I want to learn that. What happened to being the successor of Yen's school? That's it? That's it? Is she made of paper? The referee was invited by Master Yen. He originally wanted to be biased towards Master Yen, but in the face of everyone's burning gazes, he blushed. Ahem, I announce that Xiangyi is the winner of this match. The verdict was final. Xiangyi was even more confused as confusion appeared on her milky white face. I won? The girl's reaction was so adorable. Sister E is super cute, super dumb, and super fierce, haha. Master Yan's disciples were all dumbfounded. No way. Master lost just like that. The person in charge of Jianyu livestream fell into a chair. It's over. His face was pale as his lips quivered. Jianyu livestream had spent a lot of manpower, material, and financial resources to promote this match. He even promised his boss that through this livestream, Jianyu livestream would attract traffic and create a popular livestream variety show. But now, it had become a farce. Grandmaster Yen was simply like a jumping clown. And he was a big idiot who had been played by a clown. Xiang Feng shouted, Hey, the outcome has been decided. Old man, hurry up and get up, don't try to scam us. Master Yen still did not move. His disciples reacted and wailed loudly, Master. Everyone gathered around, only to find that Master Yen had fainted. For a moment, the scene was filled with people pinching each other and dialing 120. It was chaos. Finally, Master Yen slowly regained consciousness. With the help of his disciples, he barely managed to stand up. As soon as he opened his mouth, he scolded, Young man, you sneak attacked me when I wasn't paying attention. I was careless and didn't dodge. Martial artists of our generation should stand in the open. Humph, I advise you to take care of yourself. The 30,000 disciples of the Gate of Yen will not let you go. Xiangyi? ? Grandpa, you're obviously trying to blackmail me. Just as the young lady was speechless, her uncle had already pulled her down to the ground. Xiang Feng spouted some nonsense with a straight face. Your skills are really impressive, old man. He had actually transformed his external strength into internal strength. It was truly terrifying. Damn it, he actually used his internal energy to sneak attack us. Master Yen? F***K, when did I have internal strength? You little bastard, beep. Infuriate this old man to death. Beep. Ah. Countless silenced profanities flashed through Master Yan's mind like a bullet screen. Shi Yu's eyes widened. Xiang Feng's actions were completely different from the gentlemanly education he had received. It had a strong impact on his worldview. However, for Sister Xiangyi, the little Shota clenched his little fists and quickly lay down beside Xiang Feng and Xiangyi. Looking at the three people lying down neatly, Master Yen and his disciples were dumbfounded. However, this scene poked at countless people's funny spots. The popularity of the live stream did not decrease but instead increased. The number of viewers was even higher than when Xiangyi and Master Yen fought. Xiang Feng, forever a god in the Pengxi world. Shi Yu is also lying down. This child has been led astray. Oh my god. It's okay to scam each other. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 7:15. Master Yen reacted and was so angry that his beard and hair stood on end. You young people don't talk about martial arts ethics. The next second, Xiang Feng screamed, "Ah, Master Yen, you actually plotted against us again." Shi Yu also shouted expressionlessly, "Ah." It was very soulless. Xiangyi, the little girl, had a hard time holding back her laughter. Her slender shoulders trembled. Master Yen was about to go crazy. "What evidence do you have to prove that I hurt you? You're playing me." The next second, a series of low coughs could be heard. That sound seemed to be the result of trying hard to be surprised but unable to control it. There was a trace of vulnerability in the pitiful voice, a trace of strength in the vulnerability, and a trace of pain in the strength. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw Shi Sui's slender fingertips on his lips. His peach blossom eyes were stained with water vapor, dark and wet. Sensing everyone's gaze, he raised his eyes and struggled to pull the corners of his mouth. He frowned uncomfortably and said, "Master Yen, you're right. You didn't use your internal strength to sneak an attack on us. See, there's finally someone who understands. Did you hear what he said?" Master Yen was anxious to seek confirmation from others. Little did he know, the netizens who thought he was a fool just now felt that Master Yen was something. Otherwise, why would Shi Sui be like this? At a glance, it was obvious that he had suffered internal injuries, but he was still holding it in. He must have said that on purpose for Xiangyi's sake. He was afraid that Xiangyi would be hurt by Master Yen again. This kind of spirit of loving his girlfriend more than his face was too touching. Even Master Yan's disciples were shaken. Could it be that Master really had internal strength? So all this time, Master had been holding back from us? Was he pretending? Many people instantly felt alienated from Master Yen. Even the onlooking staff couldn't help but point at him. It's a little too much. Master Yen is too much of a bully. He even said that Sister Yi sneaked an attack. I think he was the one who did it. Master Yen was about to vomit blood. He said that I don't have internal strength. I didn't sneak an attack on them. Unfortunately, when it came to acting, a certain best actor was truly a professional. Even if it was just a casual performance, the sense of immersion and empathy were extremely strong. Cough, cough. Shi Sui coughed a little harder. Her lips were pale and she looked like she would fall to the ground in the next second. He knelt down beside Xiangyi on one knee and said, "That's right, great Master Yen. Didn't do anything." Cough, cough, cough. "Sister Yi, are you okay? I'm sorry for not being able to protect you." Xiangyi panicked. What's wrong with you?" The little girl was so concerned that she was confused and thought that he was really feeling unwell. Just as she was about to get up to take his pulse, Shi Sui raised his hand to caress her cheek. Of course, at an angle that was not easily noticed by others, the man's palm covered her lips. He winked at the girl. "Xiangyi!" Exclamation point. Very good. Her boyfriend has also learned bad things. At this time, Taoist Ran and the others also spoke up. "Sai, it's just a martial arts competition. Don't go overboard, Great Master Yen. Look at how badly you've hurt these young people. Don't go too far. Great Master Yen, you're attacking indiscriminately. No, I can't take it anymore. Great Master Yan's eyes were about to pop out. Damn it, what kind of lineup is this? Chapter 716. Master Yen was infuriated. The live stream viewers, on the other hand, were delighted. Ha ha ha, everyone is so evil. Master Yan's expression can be screenshotted and used as an emoji pack. I'm dying of laughter. Sure Sui, you won the Best Actor award 3 times just to act as Master Yen today, right? It's over. The words "that's it, terrifying," and "immoral" are all on repeat in my head. The person in charge of GNU Livestream realized that the popularity of the livestream was high on the internet, but, damn it, why did everyone go to Xingchen Livestream? They all went to the livestream of Two Under One Roof. In fact, it could be considered a coincidence for Xingchen Livestream. The promotion of GNU Livestream had been focused on the martial arts competition in the early stages, while Xingchen Livestream promoted Shi Sui's sister Yi as a one-day tour. As a result, the audience's expectations were completely different. The viewers of GNU Livestream wanted to watch the martial arts competition. Once the competition ended and Master Yen lost, it would be meaningless. However, Xingchen Livestream was different. Everyone had always watched it on that day, but they didn't expect it to be so silly. It was so funny. Life was already hard enough. What was the point of watching live streams and variety shows? Wasn't it just for fun? Two Under One Roof had achieved that. In fact, it had reached a perfect level. It was also worth mentioning that Xingchen Livestream didn't expect GNU Livestream to lead them in the opposite direction. Perhaps Shi Sui's sister Yi really has a halo of luck? At the Martial Arts Center, Xiang Feng was worried that he would really infuriate the old man, so he found a way out and pulled his niece and the others up to leave. Now that things had gotten to this point, Master Yen had completely lost, be it in terms of face or ability. However, he was really thick-skinned and changed the angle of his attack to Xiongyi. Your swordsmanship and Tai Chi are plagiarized from the Yen school. So, it can't be considered as my loss. At the end of the day, you used my family's inheritance to defeat me. Xiongyi realized that the other party wasn't a real martial artist at all. He was just a funny clown. The girl's eyes were calm. How can you prove that my swordsmanship and Tai Chi are plagiarized from your family's inheritance? Of course, Master Yen couldn't prove it. Martial arts had been passed down since ancient times. It could be said that many clans and sects had their own legacies. It was nothing more than you influencing me and I influencing you. Everyone fought together and improved. Of course, this did not exclude the existence of unique techniques. Master Yen thought he had found a way to refute Xiongyi, so he asked, "Then how can you prove that you didn't plagiarize my work?" This move was too damaging and too ruthless. This was like comparing the perpetrator and the victim. They did not ask the perpetrator why he hurt others and why he did evil. Instead, he asked the victim, "Why do you think the perpetrator wanted to harm you? Why did it have to be you and not someone else?" Master Yen thought that Xiongyi wouldn't be able to defend herself. Just as he was about to take advantage of the situation, he heard the girl say, "What a coincidence, I can really prove it." Master Yen was confused. Xiang Feng promptly handed over a few thick ancient books, but they were all photocopies. The original had been donated to the museum by the Xiang family. My swordsmanship and taiji were inherited from my grandfather. Tracing back hundreds of years, they are all recorded in the family tree. The netizens were shocked. Not only did she have evidence, but she also had solid evidence. Thor's hammer. Master Yen was confused. Chapter 717. Master Yen was in despair. No, he was in utter despair. He had been a scammer for many years and had never tasted defeat. But today, not only did he lose to scammers, he was even beaten to the ground. Did he say that Xiongyi is a noob? In the end, he was KO'd. Did he say that Xiongyi plagiarized? In the end, she has her own heritage. That's infuriating. The netizens laughed even more merrily because of this dramatic turn of events. Master Yen, you have to pay for what you've done. Wow, the Xiong family has a heritage of hundreds of years. Sister Yi is really rich and beautiful. Master Yen, what does it feel like to hit an iron plate? I'll show you guys now. Even if Master Yen wanted to quibble, all his words were meaningless in the face of real evidence. You plagiarized. Even if you didn't, it means that your ancestors plagiarized from our family. Anyway, the Yen school's heritage is the best. You're bullying an old man like me just because you're young. I was careless and fell into your trap. Master Yen repeated those words over and over again, but unfortunately, no one wanted to listen to him anymore. Those who tried to curry favor with others were most afraid of losing the attention of others. The way great Master Yan's disciples looked at him had changed as well. They suddenly sobered up as if the clouds had cleared. Previously, it was as if Master Yen had drugged them. Whatever he said, they believed it to be true. In fact, after thinking about it carefully, they realized that his words couldn't withstand the scrutiny of logic at all. At this moment, Master Yen had yet to realize that today was an important turning point in his life from an internet celebrity to an internet hater. Retribution has finally come. Xiongyi had no intention of arguing with Master Yen anymore. She had used her martial prowess to defend her dignity and also used solid evidence to prove her innocence. That was enough. Shall we go out to eat today? I know a good private restaurant where I can invite all of you to have a taste, Xiongyi suggested. The Taoist masters were particularly interested in her talismans, so they naturally agreed. At the door, a clear voice of a young man suddenly sounded. Miss Xiang, please wait. This voice sounded a little familiar. Xiongyi turned her head and saw a tall figure hurrying through the crowd. It was a young man of about 17 or 18 years old. He was wearing a clean navy blue training suit with a long sword on his back. He had delicate facial features and fair skin. His expression was gentle and shy. Xiongyi recognized him. Xu Xinglan. Speaking of which, the two families could be considered old friends. The Xiong clan had practiced medicine for many generations, and had also passed down sword manuals, fist techniques, and the like, but most of them were used to strengthen the body. The Xu clan was different. Basically, the entire clan was a martial arts fanatic. In ancient times, they had founded a sect, and now, they had opened a martial arts dojo. Xiongyi and Xu Xinglan had met a few times, and he didn't talk much. At most, he would say a few words about swordsmanship. Hello, Miss Xiang. Xu Xinglan cautiously nodded her head in greeting and cupped her fists towards Xiongyi. Long time no see. Sorry for offending you. Can I have a match with you? The young man's eyes were full of bright light. Shi Sui squinted slightly and decided not to make a move for the time being. However, the audience in the live stream got excited. I can do this, brother. He stutters nervously when he speaks. I'm dead. You women have double standards. Lu Nang stutters too. Why isn't anyone praising him? Such a cute brother. Sister E is going to beat him to tears. Hurry up. Chapter 7:18. Are You the Devil? There was a huge increase in traffic to Xingchen's live stream, and the comment section of the live stream was extremely lively. However, the online traffic of Pian Yu's live stream dropped again and again. No one wanted to see Master Yen quibble in a pathetic state. Since Pian Yu had signed a contract with Master Yen, the cameras were all facing him. What the netizens wanted to see was the battle between Xiongyi and Xu Xinglan. Hence, the heartless netizens began to download Xingchen's live stream on the spot, contributing another batch of users to Xingchen's live stream. Competition? Xiongyi asked in bewilderment. You should look for a professional then. She was just an amateur with mediocre skills. It was no exaggeration to say that Xu Xinglan had been practicing swordsmanship since he was a child. If there were standards for swordsmanship like other sports, he would definitely be a national team player. Xu Xinglan was speechless. Miss Xiang, do you have a serious misunderstanding about me? I've seen the video of you subduing Feng Shan. You're very impressive. Stabbing a wooden sword into a snake's body was something that anyone who practiced swordsmanship for years could do. However, piercing a tree trunk was not something that ordinary people could do. Xiangyi said, "Well, I just used a little bit of force. If you're interested, I can teach you how to exert force." The young man was stunned. She actually wants to teach me such a powerful technique so casually? Xu Xinglan immediately felt ashamed. His family had taught him since he was a child that swordsmanship was not to be taught to outsiders, and all the opponents he encountered also abided by this principle. He finally understood how narrow-minded he and those people were. Miss Xiang's mindset is extraordinary. Please, agree to my request. The young man's fingertips trembled slightly, and he said in an embarrassed but firm tone, "Please." He bowed to Xiangyi. Everyone thought, "Wow, this young man is quite persistent." Xiangyi's cherry lips moved, but she really couldn't bring herself to turn him down. She said helplessly, "Okay, shall we begin now?" Xu Xinglan's eyes lit up and he nodded vigorously. "Xiangyi, my little friend, I'll lend you my sword." The enthusiastic Ran Daoist took out his peach-wood sword and tossed it to Xiangyi. The girl casually caught it. Xu Xinglan also took out his sword. Whenever he went out, he would use a wooden sword due to the ban on weapons. The people of the Xu family loved swords to the point that they treated their swords as their wives. Therefore, even if it was a wooden sword, the scabbard was incomparably exquisite and gorgeous. The young man slowly pulled out his sword. There were patterns engraved on the blade of the sword. They were all personally carved by him using a carving knife. "Please enlighten me. You flatter me." Viewers in the live stream, "Oh my God, I feel like my brother is an expert. His aura is completely different from that of Master Yen. Brother's sword is so beautiful. You want to snatch your brother's sword away? Watch him get angry and cry." Little brother seems to be a sword cultivator from a Xianxia novel. And Sister Yi, she's so cool and beautiful when she's holding the sword. The two exchanged a few pleasantries, and without wasting any more words, they began to exchange blows. Bang! Crack! The wooden swords clashed, producing a sound that made people's hearts jump. The two silhouettes were light and agile. They moved so quickly that the camera could barely capture them. From time to time, after-images would appear. Not far away, the person in charge of Jianyu Broadcasting sneered, "What's so interesting about a martial arts competition? Everyone must have run away by now." The assistant at the side said shakily, I just looked at their data. Not only did they not run away, there are even more people." The person in charge was speechless. Are netizens' preferences so unpredictable these days? All of a sudden, with a loud clang, a wooden sword fell to the ground and broke. Chapter 719. For a moment, everyone's attention was drawn to the scene. Xiangyi stared blankly at the broken sword on the ground and pursed her lips. The two of them were too fast. At this time, the camera happened to focus on Xiangyi's back, creating a blind spot. The audience couldn't see clearly at all and were all asking questions. Whose sword is broken? The room was extremely quiet. A moment later, a small sob sounded in everyone's ears. This voice was. The camera panned and landed on Xu Xinglan. Everyone could see his expression clearly. The fair and delicate youth clenched his fists tightly. There was nothing in his hands at this time. The youth's beautiful eyes were red and misty, but he stubbornly held back his tears. He was really too pitiful. Everyone. Xu Xinglan's sword was broken. Xiangyi looked at him and blamed herself. I am sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. I was too strong. I didn't expect you to. Her words came to an abrupt end. Obviously, the girl realized that what she was about to say was inappropriate. However, this had the opposite effect. Xu Xinglan's clear eyes became even redder. His thin shoulders couldn't help but tremble slightly. He bit his lip hard. He had lost. And he had lost so quickly. He had practiced swordsmanship for decades, but in front of Xiangyi, he couldn't even last 20 moves. For the first time, Xu Xinglan began to doubt himself. Was he really talented in swordsmanship? Was he really capable? Could he really continue? Xiangyi blamed herself. She thought that she would lose, so she wanted to give it her all and leave no regrets. But she didn't expect. Her brother was a little weak? At first, she was just testing him. Later, she tried to counterattack. She didn't expect that she would accidentally. Then he would win. Secondly, she accidentally broke her brother's sword. She heard that the Xu family treated their swords as their wives. This was practically the hatred of killing one's wife. If she had known, she would have gone easy on him. I was just lucky just now. Xiangyi tried to salvage the situation. Why don't we do it again? This time, she would definitely use 50%. No, 10% of her strength. She originally thought that Xu Xinglan would readily agree, but she didn't expect that the youth would act as if he had been greatly insulted. His voice was tinged with an aggrieved sob. There's no need. You win. Tears quickly gathered in his eyes. The young man, who had never cried no matter how hard he trained with the sword since he was young, suddenly shed a large tear. I lost. Xiangyi panicked. Why was she crying? In the live stream, countless sisters were screaming, "Aw, Sister E, well done." He's really crying now. When I see a girl crying, I want to hand her a tissue. When I see my brother crying, my heart itches. I want him to cry even harder. Dog head. Little brother, I can take this crying tone. I'm sure it'll sound great on the balcony, in the study, and in the kitchen. After Xu Xinglan admitted defeat, his emotions completely collapsed. His entire person was on the verge of collapse, as if he would fall to the ground at any moment. Xiangyi hurriedly touched her pocket. Fortunately, she had brought a lot of sweets to coax Shiryu. Just as she was about to give them to Xu Xinglan, her small hand was suddenly wrapped by a pair of large hands. In the next second, his fair and well-defined fingers slowly took the sweets from her hand, and at the same time, gently rubbed the girl's soft palm. It was slightly ticklish. Xiangyi couldn't help but curl her small hand. Then, she saw Shi Sui walk up to Xu Xinglan, stuff a piece of candy into his hand, and comforted him emotionlessly. Be good, don't cry. Xiangyi. It seemed like something was not quite right. Chapter 720. The girl wasn't the only one who found this scene strange. Shi Sui's words instantly caused an uproar in the live streaming room. Huh? Shiringdi, there's something wrong with you. Black-bellied best actor x pitiful sword cultivator. DBQ, I can do it again. Although I know this D*MN man is jealous and doesn't want Sister E to give him candies, I still feel like I've bumped into him. Xu Xinglan looked away and said stubbornly, I don't need anyone's pity. If his voice had not been sobbing, perhaps this sentence would have been more convincing. Shi Sui said indifferently, Why should I pity you? Do you think Sister E is also very pitiful? Xu Xinglan subconsciously retorted, I didn't. In my eyes, you are Sister Yi's opponent, an opponent worthy of respect. Victory and defeat are common occurrences. Why should we be bothered by temporary gains and losses? And in Xu Xinglan's eyes, the man in front of him was handsome, noble, cultured, and elegant. His temperament was as warm as the spring breeze in March. Every word he said seemed to touch the bottom of his heart. This brother was such a nice person. He subconsciously let down his guard and muttered, Miss Xiang, you've made me understand today that I'm just a frog at the bottom of a well. She's a mountain that I can't climb over. What was even more terrifying than the attack was the dimensional reduction attack. You struggled with all your might, but the other party only took out a small piece of paper, and it was more crushing than Mount Tai. Shi Sui smiled and gave him a heart-warming speech. You're still young and have a bright future. How do you know what you'll be like in the future? The naive young man who had been obsessed with swords since he was a child had no idea what Shi Sui was thinking. This little brat is really annoying. I understand. Xu Xinglan lowered her head in shame and clenched her fists tightly. I won't give up. One day, I'll challenge Miss Xiong again. What brother meant was that as long as she worked hard, she would have a chance to surpass Miss Xiong. It was true that listening to a wise man's words was better than studying for 10 years. The youth felt that today's harvest was too great. Not only did he realize that there was always someone better than him out there in terms of swordsmanship, he also felt enlightened in terms of thoughts. The way Xu Xinglan looked at Shi Sui gradually became bright and full of worship. That, your sword. Xiongyi picked up the broken sword and said apologetically, I'm sorry. How about I give you a wife? Shi Sui was confused. Everyone? ? Sister E, what kind of dangerous statement is this? Zai Zai, Mommy won't allow you to two-time. No. So, is Sister E planning to compensate her brother with herself or Shengdi? Little brother. Only children make choices, I want them all. The live stream room was bustling with activity, and the number of views was breaking records. Someone edited the video of the battle between Xiongyi and Xu Xinglan and named it Contemporary Swordsman Online Battle. It instantly became popular and received more than 100,000 likes. In addition, the interactive clips of Xiongyi x Xu Xinglan and Shi Sui x Xu Xinglan also became popular. There were now 2 more evil cult couples at the martial arts center. Xu Xinglan said embarrassedly, It's all right, I'm not as skilled as her. How can that do? You have to compensate her. Xu Xinglan pursed her lips and said, If Miss Xiong insists on compensating, then, someone shouted, compensate me with a husband. Everyone burst into laughter. Xu Xinglan's face turned red and she waved her hands repeatedly. No. Chapter 721. Someone continued to kick up a fuss. Sister E, compensate him with Shi Sui. With a sullen face, Xiongyi grabbed Shi Sui's hand and said fiercely, No, he's mine. She looked especially adorable when she was being serious, and she instantly won the hearts of her fans. Kawaii. My daughter is so kawaii. Hey, she's declaring her sovereignty. She's the domineering Xiong Yi today. Is it popular to lure dogs in and kill them now? If I'm guilty, the law will punish me instead of letting me watch them display their affection for each other. The tips of Xu Xinglan's ears turned red. I don't want anything else, I just want a promise from Miss Xiong. Huh? Xiongyi was stunned. Xu Xinglan said, I want Miss Xiong to promise me that you'll compete with me again in the future. His eyes were full of anticipation as he bowed deeply to Xiongyi. Please. Xiongyi was speechless. This child has to change his habit of bowing at the drop of a hat. Sure, you can compete with me as many times as you want. Xiongyi said good-naturedly, as long as I'm free, I'll keep you company. Xu Xinglan was extremely excited, as if he had won 5 million yuan in the lottery. At this moment, a discordant voice sounded. How much longer are you guys planning to stay here? The displeased voice came from Master Yen. He felt that Xiongyi and Xu Xinglan had stolen all the limelight from him. Xu Xinglan was shy as he bowed and said, Sorry to disturb you. Xiongyi called her uncle and the others to leave. They're finally gone. Master Yen grumbled. They've seriously affected the progress of our class. Okay, everyone, pack up, I'm going to start today's lesson. The person in charge of the live stream almost vomited blood on the spot. When Xiongyi and the others were around, there was still some traffic in the live stream. Now that they had left, the traffic plummeted. In less than 2 minutes, the traffic was already so bad that it was impossible to watch. Is this Master Yen a fool? Who wants to watch him in class? Everyone wanted to watch Xiongyi and Shi Sui. However, it was too late. After Xiangyi and Shi Sui left, the number of viewers in the live streaming room decreased. Most of Great Master Yan's disciples didn't cooperate with him like they usually did. Instead, they looked at each other and exchanged glances. After a while, people in the crowd spoke up one after another. Well, I just remembered that I still have to pick up the kids. I'll leave first. By the way, I heard that it's going to rain today. I have to hurry back and pack my blanket. My stomach doesn't feel well. Excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. In the blink of an eye, at least half of the crowd had left. Master Yan's expression changed greatly. He forced himself to remain calm and pretended to be profound as he said, "Some people left not because I didn't want them to stay, but because they pursued the wrong path. I believe that those who stay behind are all sincere in their desire to learn our Yen school's legacy. Can I get a refund if I don't want to learn?" a sloppy disciple asked. Master Yen glared at him. "Are you betraying your sect?" "I don't want to learn anymore." "What's wrong with asking for my tuition fees back?" the disciple retorted. Someone immediately responded, "Yes, yes, yes, refund. Hurry up and refund, or we'll call the Consumer Association." "You can teach whoever you want. Anyway, I don't want to learn from you." Master Yan's vision darkened and he almost fainted on the spot. He was filled with guilt and regret. If he could do it all over again, he definitely wouldn't find trouble with Xiangyi. At the same time, outside the martial arts center. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.